Hi, everyone. Welcome to Curated by Becta's Meal Kit number 142 for March 30th to April 1st. Thanks for ordering this week and thanks for letting us be a part of a special celebration at home. We have a fantastic menu for you tonight. So why don't we go ahead and get started? You got your beautiful 72-hour braised sous vide beef short ribs, and we want to get a oven-safe pan ready and hot. We're going to do medium-high heat, I think. Let me make sure I got that right. Yes, medium-high heat. And I'm doing 1 tablespoon of neutral oil per person, so 2 tablespoons in my case of the grapeseed oil, but you can use canola oil or vegetable oil. And I want to get that pan smoking hot, and I'm going to turn it down just a little bit. I'm going to season the beef. I should have pulled out a plate ahead of time. And I'm going to season it with salt and pepper. What I've done also ahead of time is I've tossed the Brussels sprouts and mushrooms with neutral oil, again, grapeseed oil for me, and salt and pepper, and put them in an oven, in the oven on a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. So salt and pepper both sides of this. And then it's going to be ready to sear. We want 1 minute on each side. And then we're going to baste it. Hands are washed. We are good. All right, so let's get some tongs ready to go. The oven, by the way, is at 450 degrees, or if you're like me and you have a convection oven, it's going to be 425 degrees. And after 10 minutes, we're going to toss the vegetables. And the short ribs are going to go in there for 12 minutes after we do the searing and the basting. So yeah, this sous vide machine, if you have an immersion circulator at home, you know what amazing results come from this. So 72 hours on very low heat, and it compresses it, and it makes it super tender, and it's going to be glorious. Okay, so we just want a little bit of a sear on each side. And then we're going to turn down the heat, and we're going to add some unsalted butter, and then we're going to baste it. So let me get my basting spoon out. I've got one leftover. When we changed our cutlery over, I kept a couple of these because they're just perfect for basting. We've got a couple things in pots. We've got our jus, which I'm going to warm up on super low heat. And same thing with our carrot puree. I'm going to warm that up, and we're going to get another pan set for our spätzle. I'm going to warm it up now to sort of medium-low medium because I don't want to get it too hot because the spätzle is going to take less time than the rest. So again, 1 tablespoon per person of the neutral oil, and that is all done for that. Okay, so for the beef, and 1 tablespoon of unsalted butter per person, we're going to melt in the pan. Let's get a rag so I don't burn myself on the cast iron pan, and as soon as that's melted, we're going to do the basting. You can move the butter around if you're impatient like I am. This is a little bit longer video and probably longer meal finishing than a lot of them, but I promise you it's going to be worth it. So the butter caramelizes in the pan, gets a really nice nutty texture and flavor to it. I guess flavor more than texture. You can't really get a nutty texture out of butter, but it just makes it luxurious in terms of the flavor of this delicious beef. Okay, so we've done lots of basting. Let's flip it over. And we're going to baste the backside also for about a minute. I might cheat a little bit just simply because I want to keep the video rolling, and it's kind of boring to watch some random middle-aged guy basting beef. Or maybe it's exciting for some of you. I don't know. Who knows? I find it very exciting to baste delicious braised short ribs. That's looking great. All right, so that goes off. This guy goes in. Hey, Google, set a timer for 12 minutes. Now, hopefully, I'm going to time the short ribs and the vegetables well. So we got 12 minutes there. In a couple minutes, I am going to move the vegetables around. Oh yeah, I should probably get a trivet out. That will work well with that, and I can put the pan down and give it a little stir. And the spätzle, I think, is going to take 7 minutes in total. Let me see. Yeah, 4 and 2 to 3 minutes. So 7 minutes. So we're going to wait until just after I do the veg. In the meantime, let's have some wine. The rosé pairing tonight is fantastic. Pot de vin, it's a vin de France, and it's 50% Grenache and 50% Cinsault. And the tech sheet on it says it's the perfect bistro wine. And it's beautiful with this beet and spinach salad. Let's get on to the appetizer, shall we? They gave me too many beets, so I might not use them all, or maybe I will, and our son's just going to have them when he gets back from dinner, or from working dinner service. He works at a local restaurant. Yeah, I'm gonna leave a few off, and so that he can just jump in there. He probably likes beets more than he likes spinach. We'll get those cut back, and that's why we do these test runs on Wednesday nights. So we've got some nice olive oil in there, and salt and pepper. Feel free to use as much or as little olive oil as you like, but I like it a little more generous, especially on the spinach, which is bitter. And we're going to toss that up, the spinach and the beets. The beets will stain the spinach a little bit. And if you'll notice, I am using the box that the spinach came in so that I don't have to dirty more dishes, because who needs mixing bowls when you're going to do this, especially when we have such a great composting program in Ottawa, and these boxes compost well. Okay, so while that is tossed and doing a little marinade, let's get out and mix up our veg a little bit. Literally, you're just going to move it around. Chef Rich was telling me tonight that the moisture will come out of the mushrooms and the Brussels sprouts, but especially the mushrooms, and that's going to sort of slow down the cooking on the Brussels sprouts. So 20 minutes seemed like a little long to me, but he said, nope, trust me, I did it on the weekend, tested it out. It's going to be super. Okay, so they're all mixed around. Now we can put them in for the last little bit. Okay, and the spätzle is probably good to go. So again, we want medium-high heat. The thing with spätzle is that you don't want to move it for the first few minutes because you want a nice little crust going on. So I might even get a spatula to press it down, because it will come out in a little block. So make sure that it's all sort of spread out so there isn't any clumps. My non-stick pan is a little non-sticky, so the stuff is moving around. Okay, let's make it flat. And once you do that, leave it alone for 4 minutes. I'm really having a hard time. I'm going to get my hands in here a little bit. There we go. Just want to break it up so it's in nice pieces. Okay, now stop it, Steve. Don't move it around. 4 minutes. There we go. The jus is good. You can whisk it around every once in a while. Same thing with our carrot puree. We're going to add a little unsalted butter to that because Chef Rich says it gives it a much more luxurious mouthfeel that we talked about before. Okay, so another sauce spoon for our beet, for our beet salad. So we've got this lovely cucumber raita. I'm going to put it down on the bottom. This is probably a little much, but maybe not. That's my cat, our cat, saying hello. I can't let you outside right now because I'm doing a video for these lovely people. Maybe Mummy can help you out. Thank you. Okay, so then we've got our dressed beets and spinach. And then we're going to plate it all down. Kind of stab some here. Might even scale back on the spinach a little bit. There's a lot of salad here. We don't want to send you too much. There's usually lots for leftovers, and our dinner for two usually feeds dinner for three of us very easily with some leftovers often. Yeah, we're going to scale this back just a little bit. But make sure the beets are popping out near the top so you can see them. And I bet you I'm approaching 4 minutes on the Spätzle and ready to give it a stir. And at that point, I also want to pull the short ribs out and start to rest it. Oh, I'm going to give the Spätzle another little bit. But the short ribs, I think, are probably close to the 12-minute mark. They look amazing. Here's a little secret that Chef Rich didn't tell you about, which is give it another little baste and then hold on to these. Hold on to the butter in the pan, because maybe we run it through there one more time on the way to the plate. We got some nice little brown, and that's when you know the Spätzle has rested properly. I'm going to break up that last little bit. Okay, back to the appetizer. Garnish with the sliced apple. So we send you a whole apple because why would you send half an apple? But you only really need half an apple. And I just cut out the inner core there, and we're going to slice this up in 1 centimeter thick slices. You can get fancy and garnish any way you like, but I'm just going to sort of do a little flower pattern. And if you want to use the whole apple, go for it. It is totally up to you. That's looking good. And then next up is our pickled shallots. There might be a little bit of pickling liquid inside, and you can choose to drain that. But it also is nice as part of the dressing if you want to drizzle it. These are great little shallots. I love pickled shallots. And the color is just gorgeous. And then we've got our toasted hemp seeds. Sprinkle that all around. This is one of the few things that I say you should put some on the side of the plate, on the rim as well, because it adds a really nice little color and texture to it. Spätzle's looking good. I'm just going to turn down the heat a bit while we finish up. Last little bit of hemp seeds. And then we've got some fresh mint. And you can go ahead and tear it. But if they're small pieces like mine, you might get some small, you might get some large. You don't even need to tear it. But it's going to add a real nice freshness to the dish. I don't even know which one's more pretty. I think we're going to go with this one. So there is our apple and beet salad with the spinach, mint, toasted hemp seeds, pickled shallots. Yeah, it's gorgeous. Can't wait to get into that with the rosé. And we have our dessert too. But we have one more component now, which is we're going to add half a tablespoon of unsalted butter per person to both the jus, the sauce. Turn that up a little bit to be able to whisk it in. And the carrot puree. That will melt right in there, and you want to emulsify it, so just give it a nice little stir. All right, and while the beef is resting and the veg is finishing up, let's do the dessert. From the fridge, very important. We have our blueberry and lemon tart. And if the granola is a little crunchy, just break it up with your hands. Probably more granola than we needed for one person. That's okay. Or streusel, excuse me. Not even granola. And one more spoon to get dirty, and some macerated blueberries. So that's a Gruyere streusel. So that's Gruyere cheese, the great salty cheese of Switzerland. I'm going to try to get all the blueberries right on top, because don't they look fabulous? Spätzle, looking good. Again, don't forget to whisk in and emulsify the butter in your sauce. Turn up the heat just a bit. And same thing with our carrot puree. Want to emulsify it, so make sure the butter gets well stirred into the carrot puree. Hey Google, how much time's left on the timer? Well, I might have pulled the beef a little early out, but don't tell anybody. I'm sure it's going to look fabulous, and I'm sure it's going to taste fabulous, because again, it's fully cooked through. Yeah, it's going to be good. Actually, what I'll do while I plate the rest of it, I'll just put this in to make sure that it's warm and heated. Sauce is looking good. Everything's looking good. Dessert, by the way, is really looking good. Hey Google, off. Hey Google, cancel all timers. Our lemon blueberry tart with the macerated berries. Hey Google, off. And our Gruyere streusel. By the way, I haven't even talked about our delicious red wine. This is one of my favorites. Yves Couleron from the Northern Rhone. This is his Syrah, and I just love it. Earthy, a little bit spicy, jammy fruit, still fresh acidity. It's going to be so awesome with this braised beef short rib dish that requires a little bit of acidity. Okay, let's plate it up, shall we? Carrot puree followed by the spätzle. Turn this guy off. Again, make sure that the butter is well emulsified. Now the carrot puree is not like, think of it more as a bit of a sauce and a textural component. So there's not a ton of it, but it gives that beautiful color and a great texture right on the bottom. The sauce is really the jus. So spread it around. I've got a nice little coupe bowl here. There we are. Spätzle next. Heat off. And that's going on top of the carrot puree, but make sure that you can still see the carrot puree. This is definitely my Instagram plate right here. The carrot puree just sort of filled out a little bit nicer. Spätzle, for those of you who are unfamiliar, is a loose pasta. Austria is really known for it. Sort of a free-form pasta that is done through a cheese grater. Maybe that's where the Gruyere whole thing comes from. Okay, next up, veg, which I'll move my trivet over. Yeah, all right. Chef Rich was right. That looks great. So you want to spread out the Brussels sprouts and the mushrooms. Again, probably a few more than we will send you, or that is needed. There's a lot of veg here. By the way, we love your emails. We've been getting a lot of emails lately because I've been encouraging people to write to us. Yum@Vecta.com. Tell us what your thoughts are, what you loved, what that we can do better with, um, and what you're looking for, so that we can help make your experiences at home really special. All those good little mushrooms. And short rib next. Again, what I'm going to do, because why not, is drag it through that caramelized butter one more time. Beautiful. This is going to be literally one of my favorite curated meal kits of all time. And then finally, we've got our jus emulsified with the butter. Power off. And we're going to go on top. And a little bit around the plate. And the two different sauces, the carrot puree and the jus, work so nicely together. That is one good looking dish. Don't forget to hit it with a little bit of finishing salt on top of the short rib. How gorgeous is that? Meal kit number 142. I hope you love it. Thanks again for ordering, and I hope we get to cook and curate for you again very soon.